What's up? So yeah, I'm about 1 or 2 days late on this whole topic, but in case you haven't heard yet, Valve, the company that made Steam and Half-Life and Counter-Strike, and I assume you know them if you watch this video right now, they just announced a lot of new hardware, which they don't do often. And while I haven't talked about Valve all too much on this channel or on my other one, I still am very much a Valve fan. I really adore all the games they make. I played Half-Life, Left 4 Dead, Portal, Team Fortress, Counter-Strike, which can be a lot on European servers.
Please let it be a good game and a good team.
Hello team! I would like to introduce myself. I am a glue sniffer from Germany. Living in Switzerland now. And I dislike women. How are you doing, team?
Wait, let me do a line of coke.
And I also really enjoy the hardware they make. I had a Steam Deck, which I only sold recently, and I also still have my OG Steam controller, which is very misunderstood in my opinion. So them announcing new hardware of course got me hooked pretty much immediately, which is why I went on to watch reviews up until 4 AM that night, and why you also only get to hear my opinion now, because I fucked up my sleep schedule, but I have thoughts to share. Also, quick heads up, because of the nature of this video, it's gonna be a lot of nerd shit that I will talk about. So, yeah, sorry for that. I will try to keep this video as short as possible though, and only focus on the important things. So, let's start off with the new Steam controller. This thing pretty much looks like if you were to take a Steam Deck and just remove the screen and the computer inside and just keep the controls, which is a very good thing. In my opinion, the old Steam controller is a really good controller. It's just so nice and big and has really good buttons, but it also has a lot of shortcomings. Number one, while I do really like the touchpads, there are just some games that really would need a second analog stick on the right side. Number two, this D-pad is a joke for platformers and fighting games and pretty much everything that needs an actual D-pad. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty bad. And number three, this one also has, by far, the worst rumble that I've felt and heard in any controller I've ever tried. Like really, I love this thing, but ew. So them making a new controller that has 2 analog sticks, 2 touchpads, 4 back buttons, and hopefully a good rumble is a very big deal to me, because, at least to me, that could very easily be the best PC controller that you can possibly buy. Because at that point you have so many buttons and just input methods that you can realistically play any Steam game using that controller. And you also really shouldn't sleep on these trackpads, because even if you don't use them in-game, you can still use them to control your computer. You can use them as a mouse. You can pretty much control your whole PC from the comfort of a couch. In my opinion, they already nailed the trackpads in the first controller, and they did an even better job in the Steam Deck, so I'm expecting for the new controller to be very good. But they also announced more stuff, because why would you just buy a controller if you can also go and buy a console with it? Yes, they brought back the Steam Machine. If you've been to PC gaming for a while, you know they tried making the Steam Machine before, and that one didn't go so well, but I think this one is gonna be different. Number one, they control the hardware themselves now, so they build the Steam Machine themselves. It's not like Alienware's building it like they used to. Now it's all Valve's doing. So instead of having very many third-party Steam machines, you now have one to focus on for developers, and one that Valve can really put all their effort into. And number two, the old one only ran on Linux, and it only supported games that run on Linux, which is why you could pretty much play fucking nothing on that one. But Linux improved a lot throughout the last couple of years with the Steam Deck coming out, which is why by now you can play pretty much most games on that thing without any problem, assuming they don't have a very aggressive anti-cheat or something. Which hopefully can also be addressed if more people go and buy Steam OS-based devices. And of course the console itself also looks really good. It's very small, it doesn't look as crazy as modern day consoles tend to look, which at least in my book is a good thing. And you can also modify it. You can put different faceplates on, you can expand the storage and RAM, you can even load Windows onto it, which makes it a very feasible PC alternative to someone like my sister, for example, who plays Sims and Microsoft Word. So people who don't need that much performance, but just a small package to get them into PC gaming or the PC world, and hopefully one that also isn't too expensive, because we haven't heard the price yet, but they said it's not gonna compete with consoles, so I assume it's like $800 or like $600 to like $900. That's my bet I'm throwing out there. But yeah, we don't know exactly how strong this thing's gonna be. People say it's somewhere between the PS5 and PS5 Pro, and Valve themselves said it's gonna be strong enough to play every Steam game in 4K with 60 FPS using upscaling, which Like those two things don't really seem to check out. So yeah, we will have to see how much power this thing actually has. But even if it's not that strong, I feel like it still has a place in the market for people getting into PC gaming, or just a smaller second computer for the living room, or my sister's Sims gameplay. So yeah, at least for now, I don't know if this is gonna be something that I will get myself. I'm gonna get the Steam controller. I don't know about that one though. The thing I am very, very interested in though is the third thing they announced, that one being the new Steam frames. So yeah, this is pretty much the follow-up to the Valve Index and Valve's next-gen VR headset, which I am very much interested in because I have a love-hate relationship with the VR industry as a whole. I absolutely adore the virtual reality industry and I love what VR could be. And I say what it could be because being a virtual reality fan in the last couple of years has been very, very disappointing. For those of you who don't know, virtual reality, or at least Steam VR, has been on a bit of a downward spiral as of late. Because, number one, Meta keeps buying up every single big VR studio and either just shuts them down, cancels projects, or completely underfunds them. And number two, we don't get a lot of those games on Steam VR. They only come out on the glasses themselves. So yeah, while I very much am a fan of VR, as you can tell by a very, very long video I made on the whole topic, I have been very disappointed with the whole thing, to say the least. But for the first time in very long, I feel like things might actually change somewhat soon. I feel like all of a sudden we have so many new VR headsets coming out, and XR headsets and all that stuff, that a lot of interest has been pushed to this industry again. I know that big companies like Meta are moving over to XR instead of virtual reality, but I feel like VR gaming still has so much untapped potential. And I feel like with this new wave of hardware coming out for this whole market, that we might actually get some new games and new interest in virtual reality. I shouldn't say that too fast though, because I also said the same thing when the Apple Vision came out, and by now I don't know anyone who still talks about that thing. But yeah, I feel like with Valve and Samsung and all these companies bringing out new VR and XR headsets, we actually have a chance of reviving this industry to a certain extent. Even if it's just because people upgrade and sell their old headsets for a low price and you can buy them decently cheap and play all the existing VR games, which you totally should do because Half-Life Alyx is a fucking phenomenal game and you should play it like now. Play it now! But yeah, the hardware itself is also very interesting. In most aspects, it's very similar to the Quest 3, which I have right here. Yes, I have a Quest 3, and you might be wondering, Vincent, if you have a headset that is somewhat similar to the new one, why would you want to buy the new one? Quick answer being, it doesn't fucking work in my use case. You see, I like virtual reality gaming, specifically if it's wireless, which doesn't really work in my use case, because I'm in a household with a lot of people and the Wi-Fi sucks ass and it makes me want to throw up if I try it with my headset. Which is why I got this thing here, which is pretty much a small wireless router that only works for my headset. And it still doesn't fucking work. Yeah, something about the whole thing just doesn't work for me. It works as soon as I play a single player game, but if I want to play something online, it just doesn't work at all anymore. Which is what I'm hoping the new Steam one is gonna fix, because they have a USB stick that is gonna enable wireless streaming. I don't need my router here. I don't need the Wi-Fi of the house. I can do it all over this one USB stick that is included in the package. Because I want to play virtual reality. It's just so fucking annoying for me to set up right now. Also, while this one here is still a lot smaller than a lot of VR headsets tend to be, this part in the back didn't come with it originally, it's still a pretty big headset, and the new one is gonna be both lighter and smaller. So, again, really cool. And also, these are standalone VR glasses. You can play games on the glasses themselves, like normal flat screen games or just full-on virtual reality games. It looks really, really cool and really promising. And also, warning, nerd shit coming up. This thing doesn't run on an x86 processor like the Steam Deck or normal PCs tend to do. It runs on an ARM processor like your phone or these, which should make it a lot easier to port over all of these games to the new headset. And even if you don't care about virtual reality, hearing that they found a way to play essentially PC games on a phone processor, that is really fucking cool. The way it works if you play on a Steam Deck or a SteamOS device is that it takes the Windows code and translates it over to Linux using Proton or something like this. But with this one here, it also has to translate from x86 code to ARM code with a new translation layer. So it's doing 2 levels of translation, and it seemingly works very good, and you can't even really notice it. Which is really cool because number 1, you can play PC games right on the glasses. I assume you can't play most PC games because it's just a phone processor, but still, it's really cool to see. And number 2, that opens the door for PC gaming on like just mobile phones in the future. Like now pretty much nothing would stop Valve from just dropping a Steam app on Android, for example. Like in theory you could play Steam games, like normal PC games on mobile devices. Or like maybe you could download SteamOS on something like this here. This is my Retroid Pocket 5. I really like this thing, mostly because it's so small. It's such a small thing. I had a Steam Deck for the longest time. The main reason why I sold that one was because it's just so big. I rarely took it with me. This one here, you can easily chuck in a bag. And if I could play PC games on something this size and like this easy to just carry around, that would be very awesome. I assume Valve is at the very least thinking about a form factor like this, but man, like imagine playing all of your Steam games on a device like this. I would be so pissed if my like CS:GO teammate is playing on a micro handheld. But yeah, point being, a lot of very interesting stuff going on with Valve right now, both in the hardware department and in at least the software department when it comes to emulation and translation and all that stuff. Now all we need is actual games coming out, which they haven't said anything about yet. But a boy can dream. I mean, they will at the very least give us a small demo to play around with. They did the same with the Valve Index and the HTC Vive and the Steam Deck. But yeah, I wouldn't mind like a new Half-Life game or like a Portal 3 or something, maybe. But yeah, a lot of very interesting stuff coming up. Again, I will most likely get the Steam controller. I won't get the Steam machine right away. I might get it sometime down the line as like a small secondary PC or something. And I am very interested in the VR headset, if it's not really expensive. They said it's gonna be less expensive than the Valve Index, which, yeah, I mean, I fucking hope so. But if it's something in the range from 600 to 900 bucks, I might, perhaps. But that's about it for this video. Thank you for listening to me yap about hardware and virtual reality and Steam and Valve. I myself will be playing a bit of Left 4 Dead now because I have been getting that Valve itch again, and I will also hop back into virtual reality because even though I have no fucking clue how to get this thing working again, I really want to hop back into it and really try out some games again. Again, if you can afford to play it or you know a friend who has a VR headset, you should really go and play Half-Life Alyx. It's one of the best gaming experiences I've had in my whole life. And again, Valve, please make more virtual reality stuff, for the love of God. But that's about all I had to say for this video. I will catch you all again, hopefully very, very soon. And up until then, y'all have a good one.